Hey there, welcome back to the channel. Today I've got a video for you. I'm going to edit this image of Jaslyn from a recent aerial performer workshop that we did, and I'm going to edit it in Lightroom Classic and clean it up, and because there's a lot of stuff to remove in this, and then I'm going to take it over into Skylum's Aperty portrait software to show you how I can do some portrait retouching. So in Lightroom, we're going to be using masks and we're going to be using the remove tool and playing around with things like that. So let's jump in and have a look. Okay, so this is the image that I'm going to work with. As you can see, I've got some lights to remove. I've got light stands to remove. There's some cracks in the wall that need to be fixed up. I also want to remove the light stand at the bottom and just a few general little tweaks. So I just want to make it overall just a little bit brighter, but I do want to bring the highlights down on Jaslyn's face. I don't want it so bright that it looks like she's blown out. There's still a little bit of shine, but I'm going to fix that up in a bit. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to go to the remove tool. So you can press key. I'm going to go to the actual remove tool, not the heel or the clone, and making my brush a little bit bigger than I probably need. I'm just going to click on that. I'm going to hit remove or subtract and then remove and let Lightroom do its thing. I'm going to do this one area at a time, just to make it a little bit easier to work with. Now, if you're not sure if you like the selection it's given you, you've got 3 variations. Or you can hit generate and get it to do it again. Okay, so I'm going to go on to the next bit and grab shadows, reflections, a little bit more than you think you're going to need, just so that Lightroom's sort of got something to work with. The bigger areas, especially on the edge, can just take a little bit more finessing, but generally it's not too bad. It's a little bit dark, but that's okay. I can work with that. Now, I just want to Now I know it's sort of dropped that off, but that's okay because I'm going to come in and I'm just going to do a little bit of a crop, and I'm going to straighten that pole up a little bit. Okay, now I'm going to zoom in a bit because I want to clean up a few other bits in here. Now there's a mark on her skin that I also want to get rid of, but let's just... I really do like the new remove tool. I find it's quite good. It doesn't get it every single time perfectly. And sometimes what you need to do is switch over to a different tool. So I'm going to go to the healing tool. That actually did a better job. Come back here. Sometimes switching between the two tools helps you remove things better, if that makes sense. So sometimes you might find that one area is better than another one. So it does pay to play around. Now, if you're not happy with the selection, you can grab it and you can move it to a slightly different selection. So let's just have a little hunt around and see what else needs fixing up. A few little marks. There's a mark on the wall there. Okay, zooming out. I think that's pretty good. So now I'm going to come in and have a look at if there's anything I need to clean up. So there's, don't know what that is. Maybe she's picked up a little bit of dirt off the floor. There is still that crack in the wall, so let's get rid of that. Now there is a big scratch on her arm, so let's just get rid of that. And there's a few flyaway hairs, although I'm not terribly concerned about those at the moment. I might get rid of them in Aperty. Okay, so I think we're pretty good there. So I'm going to go back into my basics and I'm just going to pull that down a little bit. Now it's quite dark on the edges and I want this to be really light and bright, so I'm just going to boost my blacks a little bit. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to come into my masking and have a little bit of a play with that. So I'm going to start by selecting my subject. And it did a pretty good job. There's a couple of bits that it could fix, so I can come in, I'm going to add to my mask. So I can either add subjects or brush. I'm just going to add subjects. I'm going to subtract maybe I'll come in with the brush and get rid of that. I think I just want to add a bit more in with the brush. Okay, I think that's pretty close. So what I want to do now is I want to invert that, because what I actually want is not my subject selected, I want the background. So I'm going to come in and I'm going to boost the whites in my background. Now it hasn't got rid of everything, as you can see. There's still some shadow there, so I'm going to try and remove the shadows. Still hasn't got rid of everything. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to put in a new mask. I'm going to come in with linear gradient. And just from the corner there, boost my whites, boost my shadows, and boost my exposure. Add a new mask. And come in from this side. And do the same. Now, because I have selected my border as white, I can see where the image is white. So if I selected grey or black, it wouldn't show up quite so much, but because I have selected a white background, I can see where the image goes beyond. So going back into my masks, I do just want to come back in and select, I'm going to select my subject again. And again, I have to just brush out a little bit, because I don't want it to affect the background. Okay, so I've got my mask selected, and what I want to do is I'm just working with my subject, not the background. I'm just going to bring my exposure down a little bit, bring my shadows down. So that she's not quite so bright. Okay, so I have then cleaned up all the background and got that all nice and bright. I've got fixed up everything that I wanted to remove. Now, this arm is just still a little bit bright. So what I might do is I might come in with just a brush. And I really just want to bring that, the highlights and the exposure down just a little more on that arm. There we go. So you can use masks to work on different parts of your image. From here, I'm pretty happy with this. So I think what I want to do now is take this into Aperty. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to right click on my image and I'm going to go to Edit In. Now you will find Aperty or any of your other plugins listed here, and I'm just going to click on that. I want to keep all of my Lightroom adjustments, so all of my masking, all the things that I did to fix this image. So I want to edit a copy with Lightroom adjustments. Copy file options, I can have it come back. I'm going to change my resolution to 300. And I want it to come back in as a PSD. It has given me a copy image here and it is opening Aperty up. Okay, so if you've never used Aperty before, this is a portrait retouching software that has been bought out by Skylum. They are the wonderful people who make Lumina Neo. So this one has been particularly done with a photographer by the name of Julia Trotty. She's actually an Aussie photographer, so yay, go Julia. And there are some presets and things that she's got here. You can make your own presets. You can play around with things like that. There's color options, creative options, and I'm not sure what the external is. But you've also got here, if you don't want to play with the presets, you have got the retouch panel, you've got masks, you've got crop, you've got your essential developing tools, then you have retouch face and reshape body, and there's some creative presets as well. So I don't really need to go into crop or essentials because I have already cropped it how I want it and edited it pretty much how I want to. What I want to do is just some retouching. So I'm just going to zoom in and I'm going to hit blemish removal, and that is hopefully going to remove most of the blemishes. Now if there's a few that haven't been removed, you can come into erase and clone. And it's just taking a minute because I'm recording. You can turn remove after each stroke off. Still another little scratch there. And just hit erase, and there you have it. So I'm just going to turn that back off, come back into here. Now there's no freckles to remove. There's really no wrinkles to remove. There's a couple of little ones, but I'm just going to leave that there. There's nothing really on her forehead or anything. No real sort of smile lines. Skin smoothing, I'm going to do some of that. I still want to preserve all the details. Face skin color correction. This is wonderful if you've got any red spots or anything like that. Dark circles, again, there's not a lot, but we'll put some in there. Face brighten, I could brighten it a little bit. This is fabulous. The shine removal is going to remove shine. The iris, I'm going to have a little bit of iris flare or catch lights in there. Redness removal, this is from, I'm in the eyes section, and I can whiten the eyes up. Teeth whitening, you can do that from here. Teeth brightening, you can do that from here as well. There's also lips blemish removal, so if there's any dry skin or anything like that. Lip smoothing, you can do that from here. You can, if you wish to, come into makeup, so there's a whole heap. You can do contouring, makeup, highlights, eyeliner, all sorts of things in here that you can do. And then you've got body skin smoothing. Now if you go into reshape, you can slim down the face, the body. You can play with redoing the bridge of the nose, things like that. I'm not going to come into here. I just wanted to do a little bit of retouching, but I just wanted to show you what was in there. Now it has picked up that there's a person there. It's female. So that is retouching this in Aperty. If I show you the before and after. So it's removed a bit of that shine. I might come in and even take that shine up. So there you have it. Now all I have to do now is hit apply, and it will take that back into Lightroom. Okay, so here we are back in Lightroom with the finished image. So I will show you the before and after. So you can see the before image here. So there was quite a lot to move and brighten up, and this is the final image. So as you can see, we can do an awful lot with an image without having to go into Photoshop or anything like that. I cleaned up the background, I brightened everything up and did all of that in Lightroom, and then I went into Aperty to do some really quick retouching. It probably took longer to talk through it than it did to actually do it. So that's it for today's video. I hope you enjoyed it, found it helpful. There is actually a special discount on Aperty at the moment, so I will put a link for that down below. So if you're interested in having a look at Aperty, go grab that. It's fantastic for your portrait retouching, especially if you don't want to use, you know, anything else like Photoshop or whatever, and you can use it as a standalone. It doesn't have to be in Lightroom. So that's it for today's video. Don't forget to give it a thumbs up. Maybe even subscribe to the channel. It does mean the world to me. If there's anything that you need, or if you really enjoyed the video, don't forget to put a comment down below, and I will see you next time on YouTube. Bye.